Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 152. We may be past Christmas, but this show is like a stocking just stuffed full of absolutely incredible people today. This is going to be absolutely bananas. My name is Brent Daniels. Next to me is Jamil Damji. We've got Pace Morby, always. We've got Jerry Norton in the house with a fierce beard and his camera shooting up at it. Get ready. He's going to be providing an incredible thoughts and instructions on how to succeed in 2023. We also have Jesse and Landon Boeckle in the house. This is going to be an incredible show, guys. There's 5 of us on here, 6 of us on here, and we're going to go absolutely bananas. So let's open this thing up.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Great to see you. Great to see you again, Jerry. You and I had a beautiful morning together. Got to create some content and hang out. I'm excited to get to Vegas and hang out with Pace and Ryan Pineda and the Boeckle Bros over there and podcast and kick it with y'all. And this is a great day. We're in 2023. The real estate market has downshifted, and I am gobbling up houses like Pac-Man gobbles up pellets.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Jerry, where are you at right now?
I'm at the vacation rental right here in Mesa, close by you guys.
Awesome. You're in town for what, Jerry?
Till Wednesday, then back to Puerto Rico, and going to be hanging with you, Brent, tomorrow at your studio.
All day.
So that.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Pace, where are you, bud?
I am in Vegas at the Boeckle Studios, hanging out with Jesse and Landon. I hung out with Ryan Pineda all day today. We'll hang out all day tomorrow. Jamil and I will be.
First and foremost, Pace, before you go any further, did Ryan require surgery after the beating you gave him?
Here's what happened, bro. I don't know how this happened, but Tiger Woods entered my body yesterday for 5 straight hours.
We witnessed this happen.
I played the best golf of my life. Like, my drives were not great, but here's what happened. Like, God was on my side. The golf gods were on my side. I don't know what happened, but there was a hole. Check this out. So we played match play. Do you know how match play works, Jamil?
Yeah, it's when you sit across the table from somebody. Each of you has a match. You both strike it. Whoever doesn't get it gets shot. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You can either play stroke play, right, where you're counting your total strokes, or you can play match play, which is you're playing 1 point per hole. So if I win the hole, I got a point. I move on to the next hole, right? And it's just every hole is worth 1 point. So on the 8th hole, we tie. On the 9th hole, we tie, which means the 10th hole is now worth 3 total points. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
So I hit a drive. That drive flies right on Granny Smith's roof, completely out of bounds.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. And I'm like, all right, there's my first lost ball. This is where Ryan's going to turn up the heat. He's going to take over the whole game. And I have a lost ball. So I hit a safety ball, a second ball. I hit a safety ball just in case we can't find my first ball. Well, we pull up. Next thing you know, that ball ricocheted off somebody's roof, landed right in the fairway. My second shot, I hit it within 6 inches of the hole. I birdie and I take 3 points. And that was basically the entire day.
That's
I hit
huge.
4 roofs, ricocheted, and hit 4 fairways. And I couldn't lose, dude. It was just like something.
So you beat Pace. You beat him, right?
I destroyed him. It was like an absolute destruction. Yeah, I thought I had no chance. He's an athlete. He's amazing. He golfs a lot more than I do, and he had no chance yesterday. Tiger Woods
was it at his club?
It was at his.
That's his home course.
Even worse.
That's his home course.
That's a home course.
Yeah, we recorded the whole thing. It will be we're going to do a VHS box tape with this and put it on sale for $19.99 for anybody who wants to watch.
Straight to rental.
Pace, I'm going to text Ryan. Pace, I'm going to text Ryan and say, hey, I heard Pace whooped you good.
Yeah, tell him that. He did not. You could see it on the camera. He was not happy about like hole 12.
That'll be one of those like straight to DVD horror movies that I used to love growing up as a kid. You know, it's like it's just a lot of gore. It's a lot of unnecessary violence.
Well,
and it was
to his credit. Here's what we bet. We bet that whoever lost had to pay $1,000 per point they lost by to the other person's charity. And at the end, I beat him by $6,000 worth of charity money. And so
what charity did you donate the money to, Pace?
So I told him, hey, I don't want you to donate the $6,000 to a charity. I actually want you to give 6 tickets away to my sub 2 community here in Nevada to your upcoming event on Wednesday and Thursday, because Jamil's got the most powerful talk you'll ever hear in your life coming up. And what he said is, he said, I'm not going to give you $6,000 worth. I'm going to give you $15,000 worth of tickets to your sub 2 Nevada community. So kudos to Ryan. What a guy.
That's awesome. Yep. And you gave those out, all 15?
Yeah, I think we ended up giving out 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, $30,000 worth. He just doesn't know. I told his team, I was like, he said it was okay. So shout out sub 2 community, got $30,000 worth of Ryan Pineda's money. So
big come up.
Nice.
So, but I'm hanging out with the Boeckle Brothers, and these guys do. I'm interested in this conversation, especially because they have some mutual overlaps with Jerry Norton in the luxury flip market. They do a good amount. They focus, or they used to at least. I'd love to hear more about this, but they focus a lot on luxury flips. So, Brent, I'll keep you going. I'm sorry it took so long.
I love it. Jesse, Landon, talk to us. How long have you been in the real estate business?
Sure. So relatively short, but it's been a wonderful 6 years. Landon and I bought our first house in 2016. And since then, we've completed about 375 flips. A lot of those being in the luxury space here in Las Vegas.
Heck yeah, dude. That's
Let's go.
You guys hit the ground running and you went nuts. 375.
It was crazy. We bought 2 or 3 homes our first year. Yeah. And then our parents were like, wow, this is great. You guys are doing great. Next year we bought 27. Next year we bought 47. And then it just kept going and going.
Where do you find your deals, guys?
So I think that's kind of our big differentiator. Probably 85-90% of all the deals we buy are directly off the MLS.
Right.
You can't get deals there. You can't get deals off the MLS, right?
You're right. You're right.
Deals there.
I mean, listen, guys, I've been preaching the MLS and agent relationships to get great opportunities for years. It's how I built Keegley. Was working with real estate agents. And right now in today's market, the MLS is one of the most powerful places to find opportunities, because you've got sellers who actually are being coached by their real estate agents about what's actually happening in the market. And so that you get closer to, you can actually get price acceptance right now because you've got that agent advocate that's speaking reality to the seller. Whereas if you go off market right now, direct to seller, you call somebody out of an equity list, and you pitch them wanting to sell their house. They want to sell their house for what their neighbor sold for in March of 2022, and they're out of their mind. And so me, I want my seller to be educated, and the only way they're getting educated is if they're expressing they want to sell, and the market's going to educate them, and their agent's going to educate them. So I don't have to come in and do it.
As a goof, Tuesday morning, Daniel came in with a property that was on the MLS. I called the agent, right? And they weren't really realistic about the price that they wanted. The seller didn't. They bought it for $31,000 in 2009. They owned it free and clear. They had it on for like $212. It was, or $185. It was like a townhouse, and it was. They didn't want to take payments. They wanted to get cashed out, and they were way too high, right? Just testing the market. So I asked, do you have any other properties that I can put an offer in on? He has a 2007 house listed at 345. We have it under contract right now at 252. We just put in a $12,000 price reduction because the AC doesn't work. We'll get that deal. We'll make a quick 15, 20, probably 25,000 on it as a goof, just calling an agent in the morning just for social media content.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. There's no such thing as goofing when you call an agent.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was no, but what all I'm saying is like, let's see what's going on here. You know what I mean?
I'm curious, you guys. I'm curious. What do you guys consider luxury? What price point do you call luxury in Vegas?
Like $1 million. $1 million plus is luxury here in Vegas, pretty much. $1 million plus, you're in guard gated or gated master plan communities around town. So,
yeah, that's similar to Phoenix, then Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Sure.
I feel like Vegas and Phoenix, Scottsdale are very similar markets to each other from the age of the home, style of the homes, price points. I feel like they really go hand in hand. So,
well, I'm really happy to have Jerry, who I consider the king of luxury flips, the Boeckle Brothers, who are probably, now that I understand your volume, you're the princes of luxury flips. We got the king and we got the crown princes of luxury flips, and I can't help but ask, royalty, are you buying right now? And if you are, how have you made adjustments so that you can create an opportunity or insulate yourself from a market downturning 20 or 15%? How much are you guys factoring in to make sure that you create a buffer?
Start with Jerry. Let's hear what the king has to say.
King, speak first.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, when the market started correcting, I was very nervous about that, and still am a little bit. So it's something I'm watching carefully, because will the adjustment in interest rates, will a slowdown in real estate, will that affect luxury? I think it does in some regard, because luxury buyers are also savvy buyers. And so they're very aware of what's going on. And they're also very good at capitalizing on market corrections. So what we are seeing is luxury buyers that are very motivated. They'll come look at one of our properties and do 3 showings. And when I have a buyer at luxury do 3 showings, that means they're very interested, right? They're not just tire kickers. And then they'll come in and they'll try to start with a low, I would consider low compared to when the market was hot. And I think they're just trying to see, hey, is this seller, I know he's a flipper, how bad's he hurting? Will he take a haircut right now? And so we've just kind of held firm, and we counter back, right back up where we feel the value is. And we're finding that if they want the house, they're going to pay for it. And it doesn't really matter. They'll come back. They'll eventually come up. So, I mean, we're doing deals right through winter. We got a couple contracts to sell on a few luxuries right through winter, right through Christmas, right through New Year's.
Nice.
So, I mean, it feels to me like the luxury buyer is a little isolated. I talked with you about this, Jamil, today, that, they're not really driven by interest rates, because most of them are cash.
I really want to just jump in here, and I want to make a distinction, because I think there's luxury, and then I think there's luxury, super luxury, right?
Luxury.
So luxury would be
two X's in there.
Would be, I would say $2 million and under. Okay. And I think that buyer is interest rate sensitive. Me, for instance. Okay. I'm not as rich as Pace Morby. Okay. So I'm more sensitive to interest rates. Whereas when Pace goes out and buys the sub-2 mansion, and that's a $5 million house, he might just be able to throw down cash because he don't give a crap. So would you say that there's a distinction in that kind of consciousness between the buyer who buys up to 2 million and the buyer who buys between 2 and 5 million, or 2 million to 10 million?
Definitely, because as soon as you cross 2 million, most of those buyers it's now second home buyers. It's not even primary residence. So we're past doctors. We're now doing business owners. Some guy that sold his business in Chicago and he got 150 million, and now he's buying his 3rd, 4th house in Scottsdale. Like that's the buyer that I typically get. And I'm talking 5 million now. So I've kind of transitioned a little bit from the million up to the 3, and then I played around there for a bit, and then I've gone into the 5 and 6. And at the 5 and 6 million price point, that's someone writing a check. I mean, they're not, so interest rates are irrelevant to them.
Damn, we're playing in Jerry Norton space now.
Let's go.
We just listed our latest luxury flip for 5.5. So yeah, we're just hitting that space just now.
And we bought that off the MLS too.
Walk us through the details there. What'd you buy it for? What'd you put into it? Why didn't somebody else snatch it up, bros? Like, why are you guys getting these properties off the MLS? Do you have a better design team? Do you have a better eye? Are you moving walls? Is it just something that you guys naturally have a gift for? Or is it just, you know how to spot a good deal? So what did you buy it for?
So it was listed on the MLS and anyone could have bought this. But I think that when you get to, it was listed for around we closed it for 2.8.
Yeah.
So it might have been listed for just around there. It was a short sale.
Can you walk us through your funding source, please, if possible, if you don't mind sharing? Is it private money, family money, your money, dad's money, homie's money, hard money? What is it?
It's a private lender.
Okay.
And it happens to be a family relationship.
Okay.
And so we do an equity split with this private lender.
Wonderful.
So
best way to be.
We're able to go buy any price point, any neighborhood, any area of town with this lender. It gives us that amount of freedom that we can pick and choose our deals without any scrutiny, which is really nice. So other lenders really kind of weigh in on that. They're willing to go up to a certain price point, and we really do have almost complete freedom with this lender.
Yeah. And that's a 50-50 equity split too. So it's pretty aggressive, but to have up to 10
you know
million.
what though? You're not making interest payments.
Right.
I mean, come on. I'm in that situation with multiple partners, and it's my favorite kind of deal to do. Even though I'm in deals where I have hard money and I fix and flip that house and I make more money because I'm not doing a 50-50 equity split, I got so much more pressure. I can't do the little bit of extra that I want to do in the house that I know is going to help sell the house for more money and faster. When I have that private money investor, oftentimes I use Bobby Coleslaw. Shout out Bobby Coleslaw. I know he's not watching this because he's making music, but my homie Bobby Coleslaw, he's a music producer in Los Angeles. He's produced he's produced music all of us have listened to, and
made babies too.
All right,
and make babies too. And he makes the majority of the tracks for Miguel, Janae Aiko.
R&B, that's nice.
Yeah, cool. R&B stuff. So this guy, he's got multiple platinum hits. He's got millions of dollars in publishing money that comes in, and he doesn't want to put it in the bank. His money sitting in the bank right now is devaluing at 10% a year. So it makes no sense for him to hang on to it in the bank. He wants it somewhere that he can actually make more than 10% cash on cash. Even if he's making 10% cash on cash, he's still losing. Oh, he's almost breaking even with inflation right now. And so he's trying to get a better deal, and we fix and flip properties together, but it's, I'm not making monthly payments. Right. I'm going in, just like your situation. It's the best situation you can be in. I love that kind of a deal.
So let me finish out this deal for you guys. So we bought it on the MLS as a short sale. 2.8 was our acquisition cost. We went in and we did a true design build for this because it was such a large property. It's over 7,000 square feet, really, really big. And it was a larger property that we had.
What does that cost for the design?
So the design was there's no design line item.
We designed it ourselves.
Comes from us.
Yeah.
So
okay. Awesome.
Almost every aspect of the house, but granted that there are some parts that we just couldn't bid in our due diligence. We had to just allocate a number for. So we started off about like $750,000 as a rehab budget, and we ended up closer to $1 million. So we had things that we had the freedom to go and upgrade because this house just needs this quality. It needs this level. And we had the freedom to do that. So renovated it using about $1 million in renovation costs. We're on the market for 5.5. And if we sell there, you do the math. It's a pretty good profit.
Yep.
When did you buy it?
April.
All right.
So high to the market.
Yeah.
So did you feel like you overpaid? Now looking back, did you overpay, or did you still get a great deal even though you bought in April? Because anyone I'm talking to right now that bought in April is licking themselves.
So I think we actually bought this right. I think that if the market would have kept going where it's going with this particular property, it has such special features. I mean, it's got a full panoramic city and strip view of Vegas. It's insane.
Can we pull up the house? You just listed it. Can we see it?
Yeah, pull it up. It's sweet.
9 York Ridge Court.
Let's show the Wholesale Hotline audience what the Boeckle Bros do.
Do we need Matt to do it?
No, I got it.
Put us on blast.
All right, so-
We'll show it right here.
Bro, there's no putting on blast here. You did a $5.5 million job. I can guarantee this thing looks
Jerry's allowed
phenomenal.
to. If
Yeah.
Jerry sees this and he's like, you
cool.
guys.
This is cool because we get to show it right here and get the feedback. So I'm excited for this. Actually,
Amazing.
Guys, I have to shut down Chrome. We'll be right back. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
All right. Jerry, how did those numbers sound to you?
I mean, that's phenomenal. So when I do luxury, I want a net clear at least $1 million profit. And that's with very conservative numbers going into the deal. So those guys are over that if they're all in for 3.8 selling for 5, right? 5 something. What was your contract right? Yeah, you're clearing 2 million. Yeah, close with.
Well,
I mean,
we should with everything and the way it pans out, we do. So we don't pay interest monthly. We don't pay any fees for borrowing, but we do at the end of it,
Right.
allocate some money towards that lender for interest and stuff on the money. But at the end of it, we should walk away over $1 million on this.
Yeah.
I think if it
Guys,
sells
hold
at
on.
5.5,
We'll be right back.
So one thing I was doing that was very similar to you guys is equity partners. And for everybody listening, what that means is if you think about hard money, that's a debt instrument. So you're borrowing the money, paying an interest rate. What Jamil said is dead on. When you're doing luxury and you're using hard money and you're juicing a $15,000, a $20,000 a month interest payment, that's stressful. I don't care who you are. That's stressful. Equity, you free all that up because now you're not making a payment. You are giving up half the profit to your equity investor. And so that's there. But to alleviate that pressure to do it right, sit on the market as long as you need to, there's so much value in that equity partner. What I did is I still got tired of paying out half the profit on luxury to my equity partner.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a while, but I ended up qualifying for bank financing at a local bank here in Phoenix. And then, so my last couple of flips are at 4% interest.
Wow.
Only on the, and it's prorated. So it's based on my draws. So they gave me the money to buy it, the money to renovate it. I got to put 20% skin in. So I got some cash out.
Yeah.
But at a 4% interest rate. So now I get to keep so much more of the profit. But it was literal brain damage to get, and it still is. Every deal, it still is pretty difficult. But so it's a lot of work to get that bank money at 4%. So I still combo the two because sometimes it's just so much easier to call up my equity investors and let them participate.
And you build that over time. You just build it based on your resume because you started in Detroit at like $15,000 properties, right?
So here's the double-edged sword. So in order to qualify for bank financing, you have to have a really nice looking tax return. So they don't care what you're doing. You got to have taxable income, which meant I had to play the long game and pay a lot in taxes for about 3 years strategically, just so I could qualify for bank financing so that I could make it up in the long run doing big deals. So
Jerry, would you share what a lot in taxes is a year?
Putting the Trump on them.
Well, hey, pre Puerto Rico.
I'm gonna take a guess. It's millions.
Yeah. 1.4 was my 2021. That's after I wrote, that's after buy-in and writing off and, aggressively doing everything I can.
Paying.
Shit.
Yeah, that sucked. Yeah.
See, guys, this is what it looks like to be a flipping genius.
Well, listen, the goal should be to pay $1 million in taxes.
Yes,
you pay $1 million in taxes. That's what my mentor told me like 10 years ago. Derek Jar, he was like, you need to, once you get to paying $1 million in taxes, you're doing something right. You know what I mean?
As a flipper, I need to hang around Pace more and get my mindset more around holding stuff, not flipping everything. But it's a different mindset to hold on to stuff.
That's right. That's why
I think that's one of the biggest problems we've had is everything goes back into flipping and our portfolio is not where we want it to be. So we're on that same train.
All right, Pace, we got to rein him in. All right. We got to show the property. I got to get Jerry's opinion on this thing.
Here's what we should do.
Okay.
I want to answer this question after we show the property. Okay. This is a great question, Jerry. I think this comes back into raising capital properly. I think this is a series you and I should end up doing when I'm in Puerto Rico. Let's look at property. All right, boys, walk us through it. Let me pop it up. You guys tell us what as we walk through. Give me one or two little highlights as I go through it.
So this was a early 2000s home. that was built in what's very common in Vegas at that time, which is like an Italian Tuscan style. And it's today very old, very out of date, and kind of antiquated. So we were
built in the 90s?
Early 2000s.
I think it was like 2001.
Okay.
So we were able to take that and not completely fight against the style the home was built in, but actually pivot it into more like a Spanish modern design.
Yeah,
something you'd see in like the Calabasas area or like Santa Barbara style. And so we didn't have to fight.
Did you have a moment when you wanted to make that roof black?
Yeah,
No.
the roof's kind of old and dated. So I mean, that's kind of one of the things that I'm more concerned about with the resale from a very ultra luxury buyer, is they're going to ask about that for
From a
sure.
condition
So we're going to have to see how that goes.
Right.
But we have
the
the room
style
to
of it, I
replace.
think, fits really nice. So overall, this house was heavy in ornate ironwork. It had hand plastered walls that were almost 2.5 inches thick, and it was very, very just overly done in an ornate type of way, which a lot of those Italian style homes were. So floral this, floral that, lots of different motifs and stuff. So we had to get rid of all that. We smooth coated the entire house. We did really nice wood floors, beautiful maple cabinetry. We did so much to this interior to make it look more simple, more refined, and a little bit more minimalistic. And although you don't get the satisfying feeling because you're doing something to reduce the look, but I think it was necessary because this house was so busy. It was so cluttered, so busy, and so heavy looking. And so a lot of this stuff was trying to be a little bit more minimal, a little bit cleaner. And I think we were able to achieve that in a lot of the different rooms.
Guys, it's amazing. Here would be my feedback or my biggest observation. So stop right there. Go back to that picture before that. Homes built in the 90s and early 2000s, in that era, they did a lot of stairs. You got stairs everywhere, not just the floor level stairs, but you got main level stairs, stairs up, stairs down, stairs everywhere. See them right there?
Yep.
So in Phoenix, in Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, see that one with those stairs? This is a very difficult floor model to sell, no matter how nice you make it, because your typical buyer does not want those stairs.
Agree.
So that may, I don't know. I'm curious to know if that hurt you, if that was something you were worried about, if it was something you had to overcome with your buyer. I'm curious the age of your buyer, because those would be things that I would look at very closely to determine if I want to buy this property. I look at stairs, I look at ceiling height.
Mm-hmm.
If I've got good bones and I've got really good ceiling height, I can make a new canvas, a new floor plan, redo whatever I need to do. Mm-hmm. Stairs are tricky. I did a luxury in Tucson, Arizona, and we had really high ceilings, so we actually completely leveled the floors, and because it had stairs down, stairs up, so we made it all one level. It was crazy what we did to kind of make it all one level and not have it feel spongy or bouncy or echoey. But that's something that I really worry about a lot.
It's a very big thing. We always pay attention to that. Walking through this house, when you're actually in it, we did notice that the livability of it, so the rooms that I use most frequently, are actually not affected by that area. So it's more so walk in the front door. When you own the house, you never do that. Your garage door.
How is this comparing as a remodel? Because I also do new construction and remodels. Okay. How would this compare to new construction in that neighborhood, price wise?
Yeah, so new construction in this neighborhood for this square footage is probably going to be more around 7 to 9 million.
You guys see that?
With this view?
See the difference?
Absolutely.
So you have to, when you do luxury, you have to understand that. So 7 to 9 new, and you got 5.5 renovated, even though you renovated it pretty much brand new, like everything's done.
Oh yeah.
And if it's not done, they're going to ask for it in their inspection. If you miss one thing, they're going to ask for it.
I'm curious of what Jamil's ideas or thoughts are on the design overall, because Jamil's very picky about design. I think Jamil's has one of the better eyes for the design.
I liked everything about that house except for the roof color.
Yeah.
You'd go black.
I would have put a black clay tile on that roof, and I would have just ironed. To me, it makes it almost brand new construction. To change that one roof color to black, it elevates you and it pops your house pops on the entire street. That would have been my only critique, because everything else I saw in that house, I would live in that home.
Wow, thank
I
you.
would live in that home. It's a beautiful home. You guys did a phenomenal job with it. It's gorgeous. It reminds me a lot of the Sub-2 mansion, honestly. And it's
Designed by Jerry Norton.
It's fantastic. It's a fantastic house.
But I would say this to Jamil's answer there. One thing you have to understand about luxury is you're not the buyer. This is probably all flipping.
Yep.
You have to understand your avatar. You have to understand your ideal buyer. We do a lot of research on who our buyer is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And with luxury, you've got to get that right. If you get that wrong and you design the wrong house to the ideal buyer, you're going to have a disconnect and the market's going to penalize you for it.
So do you think I'm wrong with a black clay tile roof there, Jerry, or do you stay with the red clay?
I don't like the red clay either. It feels dated to me. But again, the way I really want to answer that is I need to talk to my agents. I need to talk to my designers. I need to talk to people that really understand my market and get their feedback. I don't care because I'm not the buyer.
Right.
So what I want though is I want a house that's going to match the ideal buyer in that market. Are buyers having an issue with that kind of roof? If they're not, don't do it. If they are, definitely do it.
No, that makes total sense.
Love that.
And a lot of where these ideas came from was from knowing the potential buyer, in that a large percentage of these higher end cash transactions are from the West Coast, California, all up and down California. And so when you think of what are they leaving or what are they looking for in those homes, this was an almost direct comparison to, can we provide that style here?
Yeah. Now, one thing I think you guys do, I could tell, is when you're renovating luxury, the way you renovate also is you have to really pay close attention to new construction, because your buyer at luxury is also comparing that house to new. And so they're very astute to the trends, what's popular, what the floor plans and all of it. So if you do a remodel and there's any kind of disconnect from the new construction market, you're going to suffer. You're going to get penalized for it. So the idea here is I want my house to feel and look like new construction, but at a 20% discount from new construction.
Right.
So now they're paying 5.5, not 7. And they think and they feel, and to them, it's very new construction, modern, what the market, what the trends are, but I'm getting a discount because it's a remodel, not new.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because to that point, we actually thought about this. Okay, at this price point, new construction out here in Vegas, anything really over 5 million, you're most likely going to get this ultra modern style of home that's really, really common. Almost every neighborhood you go, east, west, north side of town, doesn't matter. You're going to find this style, and it's very repetitive and it's very unique in that it doesn't have a lot of variation. It's just, that's what you get. You get this ultra modern, really almost harsh looking design. And so it wasn't us. We never had in our minds, okay, we're going to give this house that design. Right. Yeah. We actually thought this is a real positive because of who the most likely potential buyer would be. This is actually a very differentiated house in that it doesn't have that harsh modernist design. It's actually really warm, really comfortable, inviting, and very homey for a California style.
You pulled out some character with those beams that are wood beams, like you really did a great job making it feel unique. I agree with that.
When it comes to comping it out as well, just versus the new build, new construction, the neighborhoods that you could even buy new construction in right now, they're still 7 to 10 years away from being fully developed, where this is in an established community, guard gated, with the country club, with the golf course,
that they just
with an established club and membership with people in it. So it's something that you're still not going to get in those new build communities for, maybe 5-10 years.
Jerry and Boeckle Brothers, I got a question for you. So let's say I'm somebody that's fixing and flipping right now. I'm doing, kind of average purchase price in Arizona is $450 is our ARV, is kind of average ARV.
Okay.
And I want to go up to a $3 million to $5 million fix and flip. What would you say the set of resources that I need? Is it different contractors? Is it a different eye? Do I need to actually have a designer? Do I need to have different suppliers of different materials that I just would never have access to as a single family flipper at 450? What are the things right out of top of your head, all three of you boys, Jerry, Jesse, Landon, what do I need to have before I venture into that world?
Yeah, that's
That might
awesome
all the
question.
above in a way. You
Yeah.
know, you really,
Yeah.
we did, it sounds like Jerry did the same thing. You know, we flipped 100, probably 200, 220 entry level price point properties as well before we threw our first luxury in. So we had the skill set, we had the eye to go in and design homes. We've worked with multiple contractors over those years where contractors are very different. You know, some are very skilled, but a little bit more expensive, and they could take the high quality homes. We've had contractors where we put on a luxury home and they completely bombed. The craftsmanship was horrible. Their team couldn't stand the test.
Mm-hmm.
So really figuring out who's who within your construction management team is important as well.
Yeah, here's how I would answer that, Pace. First of all, I would say that luxury in a lot of ways is easier than entry. Easier. And here's why. The higher up you go in ARV price, the less competition you have.
Totally.
So in your guys' market playing at the 5 million, I could probably count on one hand the flippers playing at your level. That's it.
You're totally
in all
right.
of Vegas. So same with Paradise Valley, Scottsdale. There's only a handful of people that even play there. So when that on market house comes out at 2.8, you're the only guy in town bidding on that,
Mm-hmm.
right? That thing comes out for 150,000, and everybody and their brother is on that thing. So it's extremely competitive in a Vegas, Phoenix, and pretty much any market at entry level, not luxury. So that's a big one. Second is I don't do any cut corner rehabs on luxury. There's no saving the toilet seat.
No,
right?
no.
When you rehab at 150,000, you're saving the toilet seat because you're on a budget and you're trying to save money and you're trying to do whatever you can to maximize profit. When we do luxury, I'm like you guys. I go in with $1 million budget and everything is top of the line. Everything is brand new. I got all my contractors are the best in the market, and you get to play at another level because you budgeted for it. Nothing's better than having a really nice budget on a remodel to do it right.
And then also it sounds like the contractors are a different level. So the communication level is there. Their teams are more organized. There's a higher budget. So you guys aren't messing around with, hey, can you paint this house for $1 a square foot?
No.
You know, that type of stuff. And then you get,
we still have contractor problems like everybody, but it's much different than entry level type of contractor.
How would you say the contractor problems are different from a $300,000 house and a $3 million house?
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Well, I mean, to do luxury, they've got to have a whole nother skill set at what they're doing. Like the tile for luxury has got to be point on. Like there's no on the job learning. So we don't do any on the job learning at luxury. They've got to be the best because if it's slightly off, you're not going to sell. It's going to hurt you.
At that price point, there's so much more obligation for them to perform well too and do that high quality work. Because if we go in there and you're in a $150,000 house and there's a little tile kick, one's higher than the other, whatever, we'll leave it. And in a big luxury home, they're pulling that tile and put a new one in. So the expectation's a lot higher.
Not just that, but when you go ahead. I was just going to say when you're renovating at that level too, that buyer has a very high expectation, and you have to. I don't know if you guys do this, but I almost have to warranty for a year. So all my subs know, hey, if I got a problem with that HVAC or we have a roof leak or we have any electrical issues, you guys got to get back there. And so you got to have contractors that are also playing the long game with you, and they're willing to go service that house because that's the expectation from that buyer.
But if you're buying 400,000 and you want to go into 2-3 million, one thing that you can't pretend doesn't exist is that you have to look at that house differently than you have all the other homes that you've looked at. And you may not be familiar with some of the nuances in how you compare value in a luxury space versus an entry level. So if I'm entry level, I'm trying to comp this house, I'm just looking like kind, neighborhood, next neighborhood, close as I can get. Doesn't matter what direction the house faces or little things like that. But when you get into the luxury space, it's this backyard faces west and gets blasted with the sun all afternoon. I want a south facing, or I want to be on the fairway, not the tee box of this course. So it's such little details like that too that make a big difference. Buyer will walk if you're not on the right spot on the course.
Definitely.
So tell us about those nuances, because I think that our audience, they actually go and try to sell these types of wholesale opportunities to luxury rehabbers like yourselves, and they wouldn't know. So tell us, I know traffic, proximity to commercial, proximity to multifamily, direction of front elevation, backyard. Is there a list that you could give us of punch list of do not do's when you're talking luxury?
These are general top of mind that we have right away.
Right. Number one is I don't care what the numbers look like. We do not buy a property backing any sort of major arterial or street or neighborhood street that's going to be loud.
Or if you can even see it. If you can even look at it, I'm trying to enjoy my backyard and that's my view. We don't want to see that. Another thing, like we said, is when you're dealing with luxury properties here, they're most often going to be on the golf course. And so a lot of times you get a wholesale opportunity or something where you can go look at this house. You step into the backyard, immediately look at the house and see all of the dents from those slices that Brian was hitting. And you know that house is going to be constant problem, going to have constant maintenance from balls hitting it. And so you don't want to be in that section of the golf course. You want to be somewhere else that's a little bit safer. Flight paths, that's another thing too. Don't really consider that when you're thinking entry-level homes. If there's planes overhead, there's planes overhead. But in a luxury space, I don't want that noise all the time. I don't want to live in that neighborhood. I want somewhere that's
I can
quieter.
attest to that. That's the biggest problem with the house that I live in. My house is that I can't even walk around my neighborhood without somebody going, man, are you at the airport right now?
You're on the phone and it gets loud every 5 minutes.
We got a train track behind you.
Private little airport right next to my house. That takes, even for the TV show, Jamil and I are filming in the back of the backyard of my house. A&E is like every 2 minutes going, all right, we got to stop production. Production. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's wait for the plane. Okay. You were saying this, start back over. And right when Jamil starts talking again, another plane flies overhead. It is a big deal, especially for people that are in the luxury market. They're usually at home on the phone a lot, or they're at home enjoying their backyard a lot more than somebody that might be in a $500,000 home. Right.
Yeah. And we have a house right now it's kind of something that's new to me. I haven't experienced this yet, but I'm getting a lot of complaints by it. Is depending on, the buyer's, race or ethnicity or religion or whatever it is, if the home's located directly down at the end of a street, there's something about it with bad juju that, certain buyers will not buy that home if it's, straight down a street and it's the home at the end of the street. And we
also with certain address numbers as well.
Yeah.
With Las Vegas, I know you guys have a great Chinese American population, a lot of great individuals out there who are buying luxury real estate. I mean, they won't buy anything in it with specific numbers in the addresses. So you pay attention to that stuff as well?
Yeah, I have this house listed at, 125 right now, and I've gotten a ton of showings. And this neighborhood in particular kind of lends itself to the Chinese community. And they will not buy this house because it sits on the end of the street. And it's just something that, lesson learned. Now we know from here on out not to do that again. But something we haven't.
These are what you're talking about here is the nuances of a market. So every market's going to have their own nuances, luxury specifically. So like, for example, in Paradise Valley, when I do new construction, it has to be north-south facing because it's sun and it beats down. It has to be. I will not buy a lot that's not north-south facing. And it has to be 1 acre. That buyer wants a big lot. So if it's a half acre east-west facing, no deal. It's not a deal. Those things really matter. Now, you wouldn't know that if you're not doing your homework and really learning your market. So what I would say is there's always these nuances that you have to learn. I'm a big view guy, so I really like view deals. Views, I think if you can capture a night, mountain, water, any type of view, you can create something really special that will sell for a premium. So I'm really big on views, and I design to the views. Whatever I do, I try to design the house to the views. But those are those nuances. I think, though, to go back to your question, Pace, if you're jumping from 450 and you want to go luxury, I would say baby step your way up. I did not go 5 million overnight. It took me way longer than you guys. I mean, I really took my time to get there. So push yourself, though. If you're at 450, you can jump to 7. You can jump to 8. Once you hit $1 million, you're now playing in luxury. You're at the bottom of luxury, but you're now understand what $1 million is like. Understand what it costs you to do expensive appliances and get that under your feet. And then I think you can go from $1 million. Once you're at $1 million and you're comfortable, I think you can jump to 3. And then I think you can go from 3 to the 5 to 6 pretty quick from those 2 jumps.
Okay.
But you got to learn as you go.
If I'm a wholesaler, kind of what Jamil's question was, if I'm a wholesaler and I want to work with luxury buyers, right? What advice do you guys have for wholesalers out there? Because that's kind of a good thing that we pointed out, that there's a lot less competition, which means as a wholesaler, I could go in there and go, man, I'm going to go. And I assume the assignment fees are a lot juicier. I can make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000
yeah.
assignment.
Big
Easy.
fees.
Yeah.
Right. So what
Here's what I would say to that. Here's what I would tell a wholesaler. If you get a luxury deal or you want to start to market luxury, build that relationship with your buyer first and really understand what they want. And not just that, but bring them in on your lead. So I have wholesalers all the time. They're like, man, I got this luxury deal. I don't even have a clue where to go from here. Like, what do I do with this? What's a deal? What's a good number? What's it going to cost? And so I tell my wholesalers, I'm like, I'll sign wherever you want me to sign or whatever you need to do to feel comfortable. Let me talk directly to the
an
seller.
NDA or something, like you're not going to go
Yeah,
around.
whatever.
Yeah,
Great.
that kind of stuff, right?
Totally. Or you come along with me if you want, but I cannot go from you to seller and try to figure this out. There's so much due diligence that needs to go into luxury that I've got to be able to get my head around this deal, especially depending on what you're doing to this thing. You know, are you adding square footage? Are you redesigning with headers? What are you doing? So I would tell wholesalers, find those luxury flippers and luxury builders. Go to them and say, hey, I want to start sourcing and finding leads that are in this high-end market. If I find a good lead, can I bring it to you and we work together on getting this done? And I tell my wholesalers, I'll give you my number. You go get it for whatever you want. If you make 100, 200,000, good on you. I'll tell you my number and what works for me, or we'll figure out your fee and get out of the way and let me deal directly so I can get this done. And that's kind of how I deal with it.
Boeckle Brothers, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I completely agree. I think as a wholesaler, dealing with the luxury flippers and the luxury investors, you really have to build that relationship and know exactly what we're looking for, because people see on Instagram that we're luxury flippers. So we have people bringing stuff to us all the time in Vegas, but it's in East Side Las Vegas or it's in places where we don't want to buy. Learn what your client wants to buy and work really diligently on that specific criteria. We can't respond or even work on homes that aren't within our buy box. And there's not a lot of us in town. So if you're a wholesaler trying to represent a luxury flipper, like Jerry said, get to know who they are and really exactly what they're looking for. Don't just throw deals at them, because that's never going to work and it's going to spoil the relationship.
And especially what you don't want,
right,
so that you're not bringing time and time again a deal that disqualifies itself right off the bat based on the street or the direction or this or that. At least get those so you know I'm only going to call Jerry because the deal doesn't disqualify itself on these 6 things. So this could be a potential here.
Okay, so
or
Jamil,
where they're buying.
Jamil, here's a question for you at Keegley, because you've sold luxury deals for me as a wholesaler, right? I've taken direct mail leads, bought $2 million homes in North Scottsdale, and then you guys have sold them for me. I've just never had a luxury buyer, and up until 3 years ago, Jerry Norton didn't want to be my friend, so I didn't have a buyer.
That's not true.
I'm just kidding. Jerry's been my homie for a long time. But so Jamil, how often are you guys seeing as a disposition channel these types of opportunities? Or is this kind of a blue ocean for a new wholesaler to go, man, less competition, I could do one deal in a year and make $200,000? Is that something I should go work on? Or is it something that you guys rarely see in the disposition world?
Rarely see it. We rarely see it. It's just one of those things that wholesalers, they got a very short attention span for the most part, and when they get told no, they don't like it. And so when you're going to get told no a lot more in a luxury situation than you, unless you really did what the Boeckle Brothers said or what Jerry's saying, and you really understand. Because let's be honest, wholesale is it's like what's available right now, right? And so it's either who you're talking to. This is out of all the leads I'm talking to that are direct to seller, this popped up, or this is what's available right now. And so these are the deals I have today. And if the deals I have today don't match the Boeckle Brothers buy box or Jerry Norton's buy box, but it's all I got, and I'm focusing on luxury, but there's only a handful of guys out there who even want to deal with luxury, and none of them like it. Well, I'm getting no. I'm just going to go back to where there's a lot of people, a lot of action going on. And here's the reality of it. Yes, you can make $100,000, $200,000 in the luxury space on an assignment fee. But like you said, you might eat twice a year.
Yeah.
3 times a year. And so you're going to get a lot of dry months. You're going to have a lot of anxiety. There's going to be a lot of moments there where you don't know what what's going to look like until the next deal comes to fruit. So it's not as voluminous as your other price points, which is why we do so fewer luxury wholesale deals than we do median home price point.
Yeah, here's what I would say. If someone's watching right now and they're interested in luxury, there is an easier way to wholesale luxury, and that is with the new construction. So because what you can do is you can do a search on Zillow, Redfin, or anywhere, and you can look at homes that sold and put your year built 1 year from now, or maybe even 2 years from now. Those are spec flippers. So if you see a sold house that was built in 2021 or 2022, that's an investor who bought a lot, built a house, and sold it, because if it was a homeowner, they wouldn't be selling it if it was just built, right? So that's an investor. Then you can reverse engineer. You can get a list of 20 luxury builders, spec builders, and then you can contact every one of them and say, tell me what your lot criteria is. Tell me what your vacant land criteria is. And now you've got something that you can really go after. You can
big
really
difference though between the renovators and the new home builders in that luxury space. There's a big difference, and they're not the same people.
No,
they're
not usually.
They're very different crowd. Pace, you know the crowd I'm talking about with the luxury home new construction. They do that thing with their finger. You know what I mean? They're them shifty dudes.
Oh yeah.
You know, they wear them big rings.
Yeah.
They talk. They got belt buckles.
Specifically.
They're those guys, you know what I mean? They're different dudes, right? And so it's a completely different cast of characters.
But here's what's cool about those spec flippers, those spec builders, is they like to inventory lots. Yep. So they want to have 2-3 years of inventory, and they'll sit on a lot until they're ready to build on it. So they're always in the market. You bring them a good lot that's in their buy box and fits whatever the criteria they have, they'll buy that lot from you, wholesaler. And I bought one from a wholesaler, and he made $80,000 bringing me a lot, right? So that's a good wholesale fee on a vacant lot.
For sure.
Do you guys have in-house acquisition?
We do.
Boeckle Bros?
Yeah,
what does that look like? And if somebody wanted to be like you guys, do you think that would be a great place for them to start?
So this is where, we look like we have a massive acquisitions machine behind the scenes. But if I were to tell you we have one person that is just so dedicated to submitting offers on a daily basis on the MLS, would you believe me?
Yes.
That he's submitting 20, 30 offers a day, and we're buying on average consistently 6 to 10 properties a month. That's what we have. And he's a local real estate agent. He joined our brokerage, so he's on our team, and he's dedicated only to us now. But this was just a guy who was very experienced with, first of all, looking at the MLS and knows the MLS like the back of his hand, and knows the Las Vegas market like the back of his hand. That's really all we needed for him to do what he does on a daily basis. And he crushes it. We pay him a lot of money to do what he does, but we only pay him out of commission. So it doesn't cost us anything out of pocket either. Mm-hmm.
How much is he making this year?
He's made probably $500,000 to $600,000 the last 2.5 years.
He's pretty happy.
Years straight.
He's happy.
How did he get that job?
He's got one buyer. He never has to show it. Never has to run around. Never has to do anything. Same paperwork, same buyer, same place every time.
But at the same time, that's dangerous. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. That would make me really nervous that something would happen. You guys, you guys could shift directions. Yep. One of y'all could get into a fight, or one of your wives could run away and tank the whole. I'm just saying, when you have all of your eggs in two guys' baskets. One of those eggs crack, and the entire basket's covered in yolk, right? Now I'm out of a job. Now I got to go hit the pavement. And so, as much as I appreciate the fact this guy's making $500,000, $600,000 a year working for one buyer, I personally think that's dangerous stuff. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to go try to have 10 of you guys that I'm working with specifically, so that I have options, especially if I'm going to try to get prices, and I want to try to get the maximum dollars. I want to make sure that my assignment fee, because you're paying on commission, I want to.
Well, they have a job at that point.
Yeah, they got a job at that point.
They're cash buyer employees.
Yeah,
it does sound like this guy is not limited. If he really wanted to be, I mean, this Jamil's motivation and ambition is the reason why he's the largest wholesaler in the country, right? Is that Jamil goes, I'm not going to just have 100 buyers. I'm going to have thousands of buyers all over the country doing 300 a month.
All the buyers.
His level
We
of-
buy Keegley deals.
Yeah. Okay. They buy Keegley deals. Okay.
Luxury side.
So here's the thing. This guy could go out and double his buyer base. You guys wouldn't be pissed off at him, right?
Honestly, as long as we could do what we do, it would be fine.
And you had like first look.
He's done that. He's expressed to us. He's more of a partner to us now because we realized we're not going to be able to keep one person in one place forever. And so he's experiencing success. What's he going to want to do? He's going to want to put that money to work. He's going to want to invest. So now we became partners. So now we flip together. Occasionally he'll say, hey, I just made $300,000 this quarter. I want to invest in a home. Great. One of those homes that we just locked up, let's go 50-50 on it. Now you're flipping. Now you're investing. Now you're more of a partner. Now you have even more, I guess you have less incentive to leave and go somewhere else because now you get to fulfill everything you want to do here.
We also wholesale as well. If we don't buy it for, we're capped on construction, we're capped on finance, whatever it may be. We didn't want to buy that property. We do have a buyer's list. We wholesale quite a few properties as well. So he gets to participate in those fees.
Yeah.
And just like we were talking about a couple of minutes ago with the luxury side, we do have a couple specific luxury buyers that we sell our luxury homes to that we don't buy. And those are big fees. We did a $342,000 wholesale fee last year.
What?
Say that again?
2 years ago, right?
2020.
2 years ago.
342,000, you said?
342,000.
10 days.
10-day wholesale.
Can I just say, ring the bell for these guys. I really got to say, Pace, I'm becoming a big fan of these two. I've always been a fan of Jerry's, but you guys are very impressive individuals, and it's really great to see. How old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking? Because I feel like I'm a senior citizen.
We're both 32, and honestly, we've been looking up to every single person on this screen for a year. So this is great for us.
You guys are in your early 30s, flipping $1 million, $5 million houses. Like this is, guys, you started 6 years ago. This right here is what it looks like, guys, when you make it. I mean, these guys 6 years ago, they had done 1 or 2 flips.
Yeah.
And they're past, they're doing over 375, I believe they said. 375 luxury flips. I mean, this is no joke. They're in the upper 1% of people who do this business. That was the hockey stick of their ride, of their journey, and they're still going.
Always.
Have you pivoted? Have you pivoted at all right now with things the way they are? Are you pulling back? Are you nervous? Is there a type of house you're not looking at? Is there a price point you're staying away from? Tell me what right now the boogeyman that's in the world of the Boeckle Brothers and the flipping genius in the world.
Of course we're changing, because if you don't change, you're destined for failure. You have to adapt. You have to be nimble, and you have to be listening to what the world and other people that are very successful are doing so that you can emulate that success as well. So no, it doesn't look like the exact same as it did a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. We have decided to risk less in this market recently so that we can feel a little bit safer with the money we do have. We decided not to outlay it as quickly when it comes in as much as we've done over the past 2 years. We're looking for, like you, who are scooping up good deals right now while they're abundant. We're looking to add to properties that we hold and keeping those as rentals and building that portfolio, because I can't go in the future and buy a house that might be higher priced for less. I can only get that today, and I can't change that. So whether it's the rate or maybe renegotiate or refinance the rate, we'll figure that down the road. But we're adding to our portfolio good deals that we can find, flipping a little bit less, being careful, just like Jerry said.
Super conservative on the flip side,
treading cautiously. And we've done. You asked earlier. We've done some things to still progress and make progress in the market, but be safe and insulate ourselves. So we're doing things like extending our hold time that's budgeted on properties by almost twofold, which we know properties are sitting longer.
What is the hold time on a luxury are you seeing right now? Are you going 18 months?
12 months for us. We'll anything that we can do, and that $5.5 million was kind of the highest and biggest one that we've done, but generally our bread and butter property, we're in and out of there in 3 months. And so we want a good amount of time already budgeted in where we still make our profit holding that property for another 6 to 8 months.
Jerry?
Yeah, well, the thing that what I would add to that, the thing you have to understand about luxury is, if you're at, let's say you're at 5.5, dropping the price to 5.4 isn't how you sell the property, right? Either there's a buyer for that house, and either they want it or they don't want it, and the price isn't really the issue, to some extent. So that hold time has got to be part of your business formula, and that's why the right capital structure on luxury has to be in place. If you're juicing 15 grand a month in hard money payments or 20 grand a month in hard money payments, you're going to be very inclined to start dropping price. And next thing you know, you fire sale your luxury when really you just needed to give it some more time. You just needed to sit still and wait for that right buyer to come along. And that's luxury. So there's a patient game when you play luxury for sure. And so I'm the same way. Like right now, I'm thinking, well, I might have to sit a little bit longer. Am I okay with that? How do I build that into my formula now to sit a little bit longer to wait for that right buyer?
And as long as that mental expectation's there, which the homes we bought in April and May, the mental expectation of these homes are going to sit and take longer to sell wasn't there. So, when we went past our initial holding costs, it was like, oh no, we had to fire sell. We had to drop, we have to get rid of it. But now when we're buying homes and that mental expectation is there that, hey, this is going to take longer. We can stay patient. Whether it sells now or in 4 months, we're going to make the same amount of money. It doesn't affect our bottom line. So just the expectations moving forward have changed quite a bit.
So have the ARVs too. So we used to look and generally, let's take an ARV, let's find our comps. Okay, that's the value of this house. We're going to get that. We've always been conservative in that, even in a great market, we don't consider that we're going to sell super far and above the comped value. So we'll maybe go like 2, 3, 4% above that when we list it, but we never well, mine's the best, so I deserve 100 grand more. We never do that on our house. So
a lot of people did
pretty
that.
Conservative in that sense, but now so even more conservative when we find homes and we find good comps, and at today's value, this should be 950. We're going to offer and buffer in all that holding time, all of that extra cushion, and sell it at 900 and still make our profit. And so we're just taking that in case the market continues to go on a downwards, trajectory. That's not saying it will, and that's not saying that we won't list it for 950 and get 950. It's just that extra level of safety is built in.
Can I ask you guys a business question?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And this is for you too, Jerry. How do you guys pay yourselves?
So,
what do you take home? I feel like flippers have this need to roll their money. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're doing good. You're making this money. Let's keep it on the table, so to speak. You know what I mean? You keep rolling it forward and rolling it forward.
He's got to pay taxes.
Bro, he has 10 children. He has.
Well, I know.
You can't go to Costco every 3 days and spend $1,800 if you're not paying yourself.
You got to take some money home. So how do you determine how much you take home? Is there a minimum when you're outlining a bunch of your own cash for a year or 18 months or whatever else, and that comes back to you? Or you like, okay, this is how much I'm going to take to live off, and I'm going to keep it real small, and then just keep rolling this until there's some sort of big exit at the end type of thing? How does this work?
So one thing we do is we have a operating level of capital that we treat as zero. And so anything when we approach that level, there's no money in the bank.
Meaning that let's say you say our operating level is $2 million,
right,
and that's our zero mark. We don't ever go below that.
Right.
Anything that is extra, but we never go below $2 million.
Exactly. So we keep that as our operating minimum, and we can invest and reinvest anything over that. But how we pay ourselves generally is we have a comfortable salary. We're not really that flashy at all. We don't really go out and show a whole lot. We're more interested in the long game.
You're growers, not showers.
In other words,
right.
So we pay ourselves a comfortable salary and we live great, but there's no need to go out and buy a Ferrari tomorrow. We don't need that. We have bigger aspirations. So we do.
I mean, if the Ferrari is over 6,000 pounds, there could be a real reason to buy it.
But your passive income's got to pay for that. So we're not, we got to get there first.
Jamil, are you a grower or a shower?
Both.
I've been a grower my entire life. just recently, you know, because of tax purposes, I've had to become somewhat of a shower, but I'm keeping the show thing in the garage, and I'm just going to be lending it out to homies when they need it. You know,
Are we talking about money or something else right now? I'm not
this
sure.
is just like flashy shit.
Okay, got it.
What
Just
was the
flashy
coolest
stuff.
thing you bought so far?
Oh, his Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
The Rolly?
that's parked in the garage.
And he just bought $1 million house 3 houses away from his existing house. Like that's how
Love it.
that's how you know you're a baller, is when you already live in a $3 million house and you go, I'm going to buy the $3 million house 3 houses away for it.
I bought the house.
Attic this
The
week.
house a few houses down in case Natalie and I get into an argument. Then I got a doghouse I can go live in for a couple of days till I get let back
It's a
home. You know,
Yeah.
Smart. Yeah.
I'm kidding. We never fight. I got
Jerry,
the greatest wife in the world.
Jerry, how about you, bud?
So I'm a little different in that I'm not just a luxury flipper. So I still do the regular wholesale deals. I still flip consistently, you know, entry level homes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very diversified, and so I look at my luxury deals as just like get rich. It's my wealth building money, right? So I get rich on everything else I'm doing. Those luxury flips where I get the $1 million profits, that's all just gravy now. I don't depend on it. It's not part of my income. It's not part of my business model. I don't know when it's going to sell. I'm going to wait. I don't know when I'm going to get the next deal because I'm picky. So it's for me, I'm a little unique in that regard, that it's kind of like the side thing I do, even though it pays the most. Here's the interesting thing. Like on my YouTube channel, of all the things I talk about, luxury is the least interested thing in my viewers.
Right.
And naturally so. It feels a little bit like way out there. There's no way I could get to there. I'm still trying to do my first deal. And here Jerry's talking about a $5 million house, right? But the reality is you can make so much more money for essentially the same time, energy, and effort. Like, think about it. If you flip a $700,000 house or a $200,000 house, I'm talking ARV, there's no difference. No difference. You still got to paint it. You still need a contractor. You still have a closing. You're still raising money, more zeros, maybe a bigger rehab, maybe a little nicer. Yeah. But the amount of time, energy, and effort is no different. In fact, my luxury flips are easier because I have a better team in place. I've got someone on the site every single day, so I'm not there. It's just such a better model to make so much more money. I think it's got to be every real estate investor's, if you're looking for cash, to make a lot of cash as quick as you can, there's no other way to do it than luxury.
Jerry, are you saying that you and I are not going to do that flip in South Phoenix together?
Pace, you should have seen that house. Oh my gosh.
Did you
I've seen a lot of hoarder houses.
I never heard from Jerry. He told me he was going to call me from there, and I never heard from him. So it must have been a piece of dog crap.
It was the worst house I've ever seen, but it's a local hard money lender that's got the loan. So I called the dude. He's got a loan on this thing for $80,000. And Pace, it's funny because we talked about notes. I offered him $20,000 to buy his note of $80,000.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. That's great, Jerry. You're always on it, man.
He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Sell me your loan. I'll buy it for $20,000." And he's like, "I don't even know. Like, what are you asking me? Why are you calling me?"
It's so funny that I think that's actually going to happen a lot over the next couple of years. I think there's going to be a lot of hard money loan lenders that are going to have to sell their notes because flippers got into bad deals.
Sure.
And it's funny that lender doesn't even know that he could do that. Essentially, it's a deal that Jerry and I were texting about. He's like, "Hey, you want to do a flip together?" It's a seller. I think she went out, got a hard money loan, and tried to flip the house, but shows up to the house and goes, "Holy crap, this thing is like 50 years of hoarder situation."
Oh, it's
so
bad.
she goes to Jerry and says, "Hey, I'll let you take over my loan, sub 2." So Jerry's like, "Hey, let's do a collab. Let's do a sub 2 or a sub tail, right? Buy it subject to, take it retail." And I'm like, "I'm down." Then he goes, "Oh crap, it's a hard money loan." So it sounds like you went to the hard money lender and goes, "Hey, why don't you just let me buy the note? $20,000, basically 25 cents on the dollar."
And he's got no idea of the asset and they're 3 months behind. So I said, "You're going to foreclosure. Skip foreclosure. Sell me your paper. I'll buy your paper." Right. You're going to foreclose and it's going to sell for $20,000 anyway.
You're speaking another language.
I think you're onto something here.
Which is funny that a hard money lender needs to be,
it's just outside their thing, like someone misses a payment, it goes to foreclosure. Like they don't have a note selling department, right?
I think this is a good conversation, Brent. I think that the conversation around how do you pay yourself? I'd love to hear from you, Brent. How do you pay yourself?
As much as possible. I'm serious. I think it's a huge mistake for young entrepreneurs to not take the money home. I think too many people think they're building an asset, and they're not building an asset. They're just using what we have. Unless you're building a brand and a franchise like Jamil has done, and there's what, 2 of them, really, right? We've got Home Investors and you guys. If you're not building a franchise and you're not taking the money home, you're going to make a mistake 1 time or 2 times, and you're going to lose all your money. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose it on a bad deal, and then 2 or 3 years of saving things up and putting them into what you think are safe investments. There's going to be a shift. There's going to be something that happens, and you're going to lose it all. It just happens. It happens all the time.
Let me tell you something, okay? I made 700, actually more than that. Pace and I together each put $1 million into an investment. We don't know if we're ever going to see again. Well, and then I put another $750,000 into multifamily investments. And every 3 weeks, I call these guys and check in and say, how are things going? And every time I call them, they get more and more depressed. So basically, what it sounds like is the 750 I got out in multifamily right now. Yeah. If I get 500 of it back, I should feel happy. And if Pace and I get even our $1 million back on the $1 million we put out, we'll feel like we're happy. So just saying, guys, a lot of the stuff that we put money into that we make investments in, they sometimes don't pan out. They often they don't. The only thing that's still paying me is Keegley.
Which is Brent's point. Brent's point is your business is an asset as long as it's paying you and you're taking the money out of it. Whereas like when I first started wholesaling, and even in my, actually, I was really bad about this in my construction company, is that I would just go, I'm growing my business, so I'll just pay my bare necessity bills, and I'm not going to actually pull profit out of the business. I just want to grow it. And now I know better, right? Brent was one of the people actually straightened me up on this. I read the book,
Profit First.
Profit First. Brent gave me that. Did you know, because you recommended me Profit First, I became such an advocate for it that I actually am in a whole chapter of Profit First for real estate, the second book?
Love it. Yes.
That's all. Yes. So the way I pay myself, here's how I pay myself for people in the audience. I'll get really specific. My companies all give me a paycheck, right? I get a paycheck every 2 weeks, just like anybody else would be. Owner pay is what it's called, owner pay. And then I get a quarterly distribution of profit every single quarter on top of that.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Now, what we also do is we take any potential profit, or not profit, but taxes that we're going to pay that year, and we put that into a tax account. And then what happens at the end of the year is I get all of that tax money back because I don't send it to the IRS because all of the depreciation I have. Right. So I technically get 3 different paychecks every single year. I get the paycheck for my salary. I get the paycheck for my quarterly profit distribution on each individual business. So I get 9 paychecks from 9 different businesses. I get 9 quarterly distributions from 9 different businesses. And then I also get a big fat check for 9 different businesses of the taxes that we ended up not having to pay because I acquired enough holdings throughout the year. So hopefully that makes sense. And then what I do with a lot of that money is that I have a full-time CFO. Okay. Ben is his name. And Ben every single week looks at how much cash. We're currently doing a big deal, probably one of the biggest deals in my life in terms of business. We're selling 50% of one of our companies off to a very, very big name in the industry. They're acquiring 50% of our business. And that deal required us to have a lot of cash in the bank for them to essentially look at the business and go,
value you.
Yeah, the value needs to be pumped up based on how much cash we have. So what we did is our CFO goes, hey, we're working on this deal. We need to slow down your owner pay, and we need to slow down the profit distribution. We need to pump up the cash in this business to make it look even healthier and healthier and healthier. The final meeting for that is on this Thursday. So those conversations are going on all the time. But for the most part, we are doing what Brent advises, which is extract your money out of the business and then reinvest it or do whatever. Otherwise,
I think the highest level, and I think, Jerry, I would love to hear your thoughts on this because we've had this conversation. I think the highest level is to become the bank at some point. You know what I'm saying? Save up a ton and become the bank. That's that's the strategy I'm looking at.
When your money's making money, there's nowhere else to go above that. When your money's making money, right? So like that's the end game. You're no longer doing anything and your money's making the money. without a doubt.
Yeah. So
be the lender.
what I'm doing, so I know Jerry's plan, right? Jerry's, I told somebody the other day, they said, who's your best friend? I said, Jamil. Jamil's my best friend. But if he got abducted by an alien, it would be Jerry.
Well, how can Jamil be your best friend if he's my best friend, Pace?
Well, there used to be a lot more of Jamil to go around, but now he's losing all this weight.
Listen, you guys are all over there. Look who he's standing next to. His real best friend. You guys can go, hold each other's hands.
Stronger.
You're Pace, I went to hug Jamil and like my hands touched, like on the other side.
There's a portion of
weird,
it, bro. He's looking great. A lot of comments. By the way, guys, give Jamil love in the comments. I've watched him really work on himself this year. He looks phenomenal. And so the bank thing, right? So I know, Jerry, private conversations we've had about kind of the end goal with you and where you probably want to sail off into the sunset in terms of business is essentially being the bank. And I see you making moves and doing that stuff already, which is kind of cool. I've taken a page out of your book. I have a lending business, so we're currently lending. It's one of the businesses I own is a lending business. And then we're putting a lot of money into whole life and IULs so that we can continually not only lend to other people, but also lend to our other businesses. Yeah. Do a lot of infinite banking. But I think Brent's right. Like when you're the lender, you don't really have a lot to do, right? Everything, your entire product, your service, your employees, everything is basically just your cash.
You got the people working for you.
Right. You can simplify everything in your life. Is that, Brent, is that what you're talking about?
100%. Yeah, that's the whole goal. The whole goal is to get to the point where, you get to fund really great opportunities for new young entrepreneurs coming up in the game. And if you look at all the best real estate, they're owned by banks. You know what I mean? There's a reason for that. Yeah. There's a reason that the whole economy is tilted toward banks. There's a whole reason why banks change when they change their underwriting, when they change their overlays, when they change their guidelines. The whole economy of the world is moving. So, I mean, you don't have to go and open up this, huge commercial bank, but I think, getting to a $20, $30, $40 million fund that you can make a really good amount on and just keep it in relatively risk-free situations. I think that's how you build long-term wealth.
I think, Brent, the reason why that resonates, because if you're a flipper, then that means you want to be in deals. You love the transaction. You love making the deals. And as a lender, you're in the game, but you're not the transactional guy. You're not the technician, right? So it allows you to underwrite deals, see what the market's doing, be involved, do cool things, but then you're just sitting back collecting all the passive income. That, to me, that's like a dream. The end dream would be to be in all these deals, but on the lending side, not the technician side.
Hopefully we could all be there soon enough, right?
That's right.
Jamil, you said something the other day. You said in order to make $1 million a year, which is, I think, kind of like a really, really good number, $1 million a year. What were you talking about the other day? You have to.
I need $10 million. I need $10 million in my hard money account,
right,
to give me $1 million a year. That pays me $83,000 a month.
And keep your.
Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, well, right now I've got money with a hard money fund, and I get 10% a year on that on that money, and I get a check from them religiously every single month. And the best part about it is that all the assets they're loaning on, they're loaning at 70, 80% loan to value. So there's equity there, and they're in great position. So it's safe. It's all backed by the real estate, and then I'm getting a 10% return on the money. Now, again, inflation is reducing my spending power, which sucks. But when I finally write them the check for $10 million, which I absolutely intend to do, when I write them a check for $10 million, I know that I'll be getting $83,000 a month on that $10 million. And how that's calculated, if you just take 10% of $10 million, that gives you $1 million. You divide that by 12, that's $83,333 a month.
And your principal stays in place.
And my principal stays, correct.
Right. Guys, we have 10 more minutes left.
Can you live off that a month?
I
Could you live off that a month?
I could absolutely live
right?
off that, yeah.
No,
Even
come
after paying taxes.
Even after paying taxes, all the
But
things.
that's you and your family. This isn't your company putting 10 million. This is Jamil
Me.
and
Me,
and Nat
Jamil Damji
putting
and
it
Natalie
in.
putting $10
Right.
million dollars.
That's what I'm saying about taking the money home. At some point, you got to take the money home.
Right.
I know, I based on the way Jamil lives right now, okay, I know he could not live on $83,000 a month. You know why?
Oh, come on.
No, this is actually a good thing. Jamil and I started this thing 4 or 5 years ago called Pace and Jamil Do America.
Yep.
And that thing costs us what it is.
Well, that's very expensive. That's not. I don't count that in my monthly expenses because.
So we before we ever became coaches, we were like, let's go around the country and share collaboration over competition, like the message.
Okay.
And we just started traveling to random RIAs and hanging out with people and really teaching this idea of collaboration, which is where Wholesale Hotline came from and all that. And it obviously spawned into more and more speaking engagements. And I would say that Jamil and I spend on a yearly basis $500,000 in travel expenses. So I look at that, I'm like, bro, you couldn't live on 83 grand because you're spending 40 of that, 45,000 of that every year or every month on just traveling and benefiting your community and getting out there and meeting people. So maybe when you're retired, for sure, you could.
Yeah. To put it out there, if given the way that my wife likes to, order things on Amazon instead of go to Costco and all the ways that we cut corners in life, I'm a very happy guy at between 30 and 50,000 bucks a month.
Oh yeah.
I can have a good, solid, very, very comfortable life.
Everything paid off.
Everything paid off. I don't have a mortgage on my house. I'm a cash guy. I've always looked at the world like because everything went to crap on me in 2008. I've already lived that.
Yep.
I know what it felt like. And I designed my life in a way that that I can maintain everything I have, my vehicles, my house, all of it, and drive Uber, and I'll still be okay.
Yep.
If I can do that, I'm in good shape.
So guys, we got 8 minutes with 6 guys. Okay. I want to get a minute and a half of everybody.
Cool.
What are we doing? 2023, minute and a half snapshot. What do you guys think you're going to be focusing on a lot more, or maybe even taking off your plate a lot more this year? And it could be anything. It could be real estate. It could be, hey, I'm not going to do these things in my office anymore. I'm going to hire somebody. These are some things that I'm trying to work on myself, my business, my personal life. What are you guys trying to accomplish in 2023? We just had a brief, period of retrospection. New Year's, from Christmas to New Year's, all these things slow down. Everybody stops working, and it gives us entrepreneurs a moment to think, right? Now that you've had a moment of thought, what are your guys' individual, personal, whatever goals for 2023? Jamil, you're on the screen on my left side. You're going to start us off. What do you got? Minute and a half. What do you got for me?
So for 2023, what I'm going to continue to do is I'm going to continue to buy luxury assets. So the $1 million mark. And I'm looking for stuff that's priced anywhere between $1.5 to $2 million, and I'm going to be trying to buy it between $1 and $1.5 million. I'm going to try to acquire at least another 5 to 6 of those between now and the end of 2023. That's my goal. My goal is to own those outright in cash.
Airbnb,
short-term rental. I'm going to do dynamic pricing, so I don't have to worry about empty days. If the mansion gets rented out for $90 tonight, so be it. I'm gonna rent it out I'm gonna make sure it's rented every single night, all of them. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm starting my collection of luxury short-term rentals now because now's the time to buy it.
Love it. Mr. Brent Daniels, Mr. Biceps, Mr. TTP.
2023 is the year to bring back Super Saturdays.
Ooh.
Once a month, we are going to be calling property owners live. We're going to be calling. We're going to be negotiating. This is standing next to giants, watching you guys do incredible work with agents, watch you talk to creative finance deals, Pace. We're going to be doing Super Saturdays for anybody that's a little bit nervous about jumping on the phone direct to property owners. You're going to see it come straight from me. You're going to see it come straight from Luke Rotvold. He's talked to over 100,000. I'm sure I could convince Monique Walker to sneak in on some of these. It's going to be absolutely bananas. has, and the proof is going to be in the action. You're going to see it, and hopefully make a lot more people get off of the fence of not taking action and jump into taking action. So we'll be doing that once a month, and all the details we'll talk about here and on the channel and on the podcast and everything else. Right now I'm currently putting $1,000. This is going to be a little bit weird. $1,000 a day into Bitcoin and ETH, which is kind of wild, but I think daily cost averaging on those two and the price that they're at, I think is going to pay off long term, according to my advisors. We'll see if they're idiots or if they know more than I do, and then I'll buy a few more properties.
Amazing.
And spend more time with Jerry and Pace and Jamil out and about in some events. It'll be great.
Oh, I love that.
Nice.
Jerry Norton, Harry Jerry, Scary Jerry.
Yeah.
He's working on Child 11 right now, guys. Just FYI. So I
No,
think
I'm
that's
not.
cool.
Hey, stop saying that. No.
Okay, I'm trying to manifest. So.
Not till you catch up, Pace. So for me this year, I really think there's going to be some of the best deals ever at trustee sale and post auction, so bank auction. And so
Nice.
I'm really gearing up to buy a lot of properties. I'd love to buy. I've got the capital backing to buy 25 to 50 a week would be my dream this year. Bought 7 houses last week. I got 20 that I'm bidding on this week, all at the auction. And I mean, I'm buying at 50 cents on the dollar. I got some really clear criteria that they got to be clean because I want to trash them out, relist them. I just think the foreclosure boom is happening right now. The influx in foreclosures is going to be coming, and I want to be geared up for it. Also, love creative. I think Pace is dead on that. Creative is one of the best opportunities in the marketplace right now. So looking to really do a lot of creative deals this year. I don't know about, I'll try to hold some, but I just, probably flip a lot of those, but maybe hold some. And that's what I'm most excited about this year. Creative and auction as a really great place to buy.
Jerry Norton's the freaking best. Love you, brother. All right, Boeckle Brothers. We got Jesse first. What do we got, Jesse?
Awesome.
What do you guys focus on? Minute and a half.
So I got a big year coming up, making a major life event and getting married this year.
Oh,
Hey, come
yeah,
on.
finally getting
Go.
late.
I got the bell.
He's a virgin too.
Is that the bell?
Hey, double!
Hey!
I'd love to
Dude,
start out.
sex is awesome.
Thanks. So I've heard. So I'd love to start out this year on a great foot, start the marriage off right. That's a major milestone. Want to take it very seriously. And so very excited for that. On the business side of things, what I'd like to focus on more is improving our basically mailbox money. And so I want to start really focusing and making it a priority, not a secondary activity, where we're actually seeking to increase our holdings, increase our monthly cash flow on a lot of Airbnbs that we have that are doing super well. I would just love to have more of them. And so that's one thing that we put on the back burner because flipping was so hot and heavy. And that's one thing I want to bring to the front now and focus on that a lot. I'll be very happy if we go through the year and look back and say, man, we acquired 15 new properties that we are holding.
Yes.
That'd be great for us.
Yes. Landon, what do you got, brother?
Oh man, 2023 is the year I become a dad.
Get that bell out.
Wow.
Hey,
Come on.
somebody's having sex.
I did it. I have a baby due in like the next 3 to 5 days. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh, it's so good.
So around a newborn, which I'm super excited about, little boy, I really want to focus this year on, getting to the goal Jesse just said. I want to utilize the network that we have and that we're working so hard to build to partner up with people, to JV, to collaborate, to get those deals on the table, because we felt over the years we're so wed to Vegas. And I really think that there's amazing operators and amazing deals all over the country. And being young and having a lot of energy, we can travel, we can go places. We have the ability to do that. So this year, I really want to use a network that we spent the last couple of years building to do as many deals as we could possibly do, whether it's flipping, people who want to get into luxury and want us to come JV and help them do it. We're happy to do those deals. And of course, we want to build up the portfolio doing that. So really just, collaborating, using the network.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Collaboration,
Pacer.
competition. For me, Laura and I had a conversation last night. We are going to try and have our third baby this coming year. So super
Yay!
excited.
Somebody's eating Korean.
So my wife is here with me in Vegas, and so I was hanging out with all the guys today at lunch, and I was like, did anybody else text their wife this morning and say thanks for sex? Oh, I didn't think so. Sorry, guys. So yeah, I'm having sex. It's great. We're gonna have another baby, which will be great. We've got to catch up to Jerry. It's going to take us about how many years would it take me to catch up to you, Jerry?
I don't know. This is a starter pack. 3. That's a good starter pack.
That's a starter.
9 more years.
It would legitimately take me 10 years to catch up to Jerry.
But if he keeps going, you'll never catch up.
Are we sure you're done, Jerry?
Pace, I got a vasectomy after number 9. We got pregnant with anything could happen.
Okay,
I don't know.
He just saw that he spoke his own logic as being nonsense. So he's just like, yeah, I don't know. Of course, I can have a baby right now. I'm Jerry Norton. Science doesn't mean anything to me.
Doesn't mean anything,
bro. Oh my gosh. So I honestly just want to do more of what I did last year, which is take things off my direct plate. Get more into my flow state, which is create more and do more things with Jamil, do more things with Brent, do more things with Jerry. My 3 best friends are on this screen with me right now, and I freaking just love every bit of life. I had a conversation today with Molly, one of my operators, and I was like, wow, I don't even need to know anything about what's going on in the business. You're handling everything. She's just like, I just wanted to call and congratulate you for kicking Ryan Pineda's ass. And I was like,
love it.
I want more of that. I want less conversations about what's going on in the day-to-day so I can go create more opportunities.
How about make new friends?
Make new friends. The Boeckle Brothers.
Hey, and by the way,
Yeah.
on almost closing the biggest deal of your life this upcoming week or so. So that's awesome.
Thursday. When we sign it and it gets inked, I'll definitely talk about it. You guys will all be like, wow, that's a big deal. So thank you guys.
So cool.
Sweet. Brent, Jamil, Jerry, Landon, Jesse, really appreciate this podcast for Wholesale Hotline. This is the most guests we've ever had.
This was great.
Real estate roundtable. Love everybody on the screen, and we'll see you guys next week.
Nice. Take care. Bye-bye.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.